Okay, welcome everybody. This class is going to be about working with formulas and functions in Microsoft Office 2013. Okay, I always do a unit like this just because formulas and functions are very important in Microsoft Excel. Okay, it's one of the most important features in Excel because it allows you to calculate, analyze, and manipulate sets of data. Okay, so one of the first things you learn how to do that deals with formulas and functions is you used to do basic arithmetic. So for example, okay, we're going to do basic arithmetic here. Okay, so we're going to take 5 and 6, okay, and we're going to do a sum, difference, product, and quotient. Oops, can't type today. Quotient. Okay, and I'm going to do that. All right, so the sum, I'll make this look good. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the sum of 5 and 6 without using the sum function. Okay, I'm going to use a formula. So what that means is I'm using basic arithmetic in my formula to equal, because that starts the formula or the function, B1, which is 5, plus, notice I put the plus up here, C1, okay, which is 6. Enter, it's 11. Okay, I did a formula. Okay, the difference equal B1 minus C1. Okay, that's the difference, -1, because I subtracted. The product equal B1 times, we'll use the little asterisk, which is shift 8, C1. So that gives you 30. Then we're going to do equal for quotient, B5 / C1, okay, which will give me 0.83. So what I did is I just used formulas, okay? Those are the only ones that you're really going to be using as far as formulas go. But functions, okay, functions are like your sum, your PMT, your if, your count, okay, and that's mostly what we're going to be talking about today, okay? Functions are very, very important. That's right where people start to like using Excel. It's really useful, especially when you've got large sets of data. And depending on how you want to use that data, you can use these different types of functions. Okay? So we're going to be working with functions. So you're going to be able to identify the parts of a function, enter formulas with functions, which I just showed you. Okay? You're going to use functions to solve mathematical problems. You're going to use functions to solve statistical problems. You're going to use functions to solve financial problems. You're going to use logical functions to make decisions with worksheet data. You're going to use functions to insert times and dates in a worksheet, and text functions to format and display cell contents. So last chapter, you guys used formulas, and you also used the sum function as well. You calculated net income, total expenses, using the sum and various formulas. Okay, when you use geometrics, you started to kind of get a little bit of a taste of functions, and some of you were like, "Oh my gosh, this looks very confusing." It really is not. If you understand what each function is used for, you can kind of understand how it works. The whole layout of the function is important to know, so that way you don't mess up. Okay, so functions. So a function is a shorthand way to write an equation that performs a calculation. Okay, it's also used to be used to analyze data, to provide to analyze qualitative and quantitative data. Um, so the function here is equals sum. Okay, A6 through A9. Now, just a little bit of review. Okay, one of the things I don't want you to do when you put a function is I want you to make sure that you use this colon. I don't want you to do this. A6, A7, A8, A9, because it's messy, especially when you get to A10, A11, A12, and so on. Okay, I want you to do A6 colon A9. So what that means is A6, A7, A8, A9. It's not a comma because that would be A6 and A9. Okay, we're going to do A6 through A9. So that is the shorthand way to do it. Okay, and that's a function. The argument is the value the function uses to perform a calculation, including a number, text, or cell reference that acts as an operand. Okay, right here is the argument. Okay, we'll go to the next slide here. So the equal sign starts the function. Okay, if you don't put that equal sign in, Excel's going to be like, oh, this isn't a function, it's just text. Okay, this tells Excel, be like, hey, I'm putting in a function, do what I tell you to do. Okay, the function name, okay, so it could be sum, it could be average, if this is the function name, and then the argument is the data you're using with that function. So if I want to calculate the sum of F6 through F11, that's what I'm going to put down here. I wouldn't put, if I were to calculate the sum of F6 through F11, I wouldn't put like G5, because then it would come with 0, because there's nothing in that cell. Or there might be something in that cell, who knows. Okay. So going back to here, I just kind of want to review what a cell reference is in case you don't remember. A cell reference is when you're using an equal sign to reference a different cell, either in the same worksheet or in a different worksheet. Okay, remember this is a workbook. Okay, you've got multiple worksheets. All right, so I want to do a cell reference for A3. So I can go over here to I3, and instead of typing in sum, I can't type today, I can go ahead and do equal A3. There you go, sum. Or that's just a regular cell reference. If I want to do a 3D cell reference, I'm going to do a cell reference in a different worksheet. Okay, and the cool thing about 3D cell references is, say for example, if I was adding up the total of all of these, sum B3 through B6. Okay, I don't know why I would do that, but I was adding up all of those, and I was like, okay, I want to be able to put in a way to put it in a different worksheet, but not have to do that again. So what I would do is go to, I could go to any of these, statistical, equal, click on the math worksheet, and what it'll show is this worksheet name with an exclamation mark, meaning that that's coming from the math worksheet. And we'll click on the cell, so it says equals math. In the math worksheet, I want B8. So press enter, and there you go. Okay, and if I change it, say for example, I changed this number to 12, this would change, and this should change as well. Okay, 41.833333. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. So that's a cell reference. Just a little bit of a review for you. And we're just going to undo. Oh, it's going to do everything. Get rid of that. Okay. All right. So, moving on. So we've got types of different functions that I want you to know and you should know to be successful on the industry certification as well as future projects. Okay, so mathematical and trigonometric, I can never say that word correctly. Statistical, financial, logical, date and time, and text. Okay, those are different groupings. And the reason why they're types of functions is they all serve a common purpose. If you go to Excel, if you look at the function library, look at there. We've got different groups. So we got your financial, logical, text, date, and time. Look up and reference, because there's all sorts of functions. You really, if you look at all these functions, I mean, it's a crazy amount for pretty much everything. Like if I click on this, IRR, it returns the internal rate of return for a series of cash flows. I'm not into finance, but if you were into finance, that would be a good formula to use. Like math and trig. If I go down here, I can calculate pi. It returns the value of pi. So literally, if I went to A1 equals pi, 3.141593. Okay? If I wanted to increase the decimal, I could find the end of pi. Oh, it literally stops there. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Then you learn about Excel. Huh. That's just a little bit of me messing around. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and undo. La-di-da. Or I could just delete. Okay. Let me move this back. Alright. So back to what I was saying. So, okay. So the math and trig. So sum is a part of is a math function. You're doing something with that data. You're adding that up. You're manipulating quantitative data. That's data you can count. Okay, quantity, such as the sum function. So this sum function here equals sum B4 through B9 calculates the sum of values in B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, and B9. Okay? And that is an negative cell. There's other ones too. We've got SQRT, which is your square root, round, and the logarithm. Okay? So the ones you really need to know that might be on your certification, square root and round. Okay? Logarithm, if you ever need it for a math class, go for it. All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try this out. All right, so I made different worksheets for different things. I'm going to clear out this data because I don't need it. All right, so I'm going to do square root first. Okay, so I'm going to find the square root of 16. And I'm also going to find the square root of 36 and 49. Okay, so if you know your math, which you should, you'll be able to do that in your head. Okay, but, you know, I'm a business teacher, not a math teacher. That being said, I could do that in my head, but I'm going to use Excel to do it for me because I like it when everything's efficient. That's me with Excel. I like efficiency. So we're going to go equal SQRT parentheses. Okay, so we got equal telling Excel we want a function in there. SQRT is our function. Our argument will be B2. Okay, so we get the answer of 4. Now, I'm a big proponent of putting the cell in the parentheses. The reason being is if you change this number, the result will also change. If you don't, if you put the number 16 in there, it says 4. But if I change this to 18, it still says 4. But if I if I did this to B2, and I change this to 18, square root of 18 is 4.242641. Huh, imagine that. Okay, so that is how that works. And if you just kind of saw if you've seen me do this already, I click the cell rather than type it in. That's because I'm not perfect. I do typos. It happens. It happens with anybody. A single typo in an Excel worksheet, if you're dealing with millions and millions of dollars, could be catastrophic. It could be your job. So you want to make sure that you're very accurate. So I just like to point and click. That's just me. But, you know, you are your own person. So you do what you need to do. All right, so here, we're going to calculate the square root of 36. So another way to do this is go to formulas. Okay, and we're going to go to functions here. And we're going to click, we're on what, math? Math and trig. Okay, we're going to find our square root. And if you hover over, you can actually see what each one of these do. So math and trig, if you're into that kind of stuff, and you want to ever use Excel and play around with it, go for it. Because it looks like this would be cool. Square root of pi. That's pretty crazy. All right, square root. So the number, we're going to click here, B3, enter, bam. There you go. We could do insert function here and say you're like, I forget how to use square root. So I'm going to go ahead and type in square root to search for that function. It says, okay, I want to use square root, return the square root of a number. Or if I wanted to get really complicated, I could return the square root of a complex number or square root of pi. But we're not doing that. We're doing regular square root. So I'm going to press OK. Number is B4. There you go, 7, the square root. All right, moving on. Okay, so now we've got round. So this is where we're going to round a number based off a specific amount of digits. This is actually really easy. So we're going to do round, and we're going to change this number to 543 decimal 45983. And it automatically rounded for me. I didn't want to do that. We can change that. There you go. All right. So I want to round this to the second decimal place. So in here, we're going to go equal, round. Okay, and the number is B6, comma, and the number of digits is 2. And the cool thing about Excel is it's very hard to memorize what each function does. So it kind of walks you through it. So the round is the number you're going to round, and the number of digits is here. So comma, 2, and parentheses. And if you get stuck on your certification, that really helps a lot too. Is to kind of figure out how to handwrite formulas if you forget. Now, if you look, it'll round up to the second decimal place, and you've got all these leading zeros. You can fix that by going up to the number group, and we're going to decrease decimal. Okay. Now if we want to do it to the 1, change the 2 to a 1, and there we go, 0.5. Okay, so different, you round differently depending on what you're using it for. If you're in science, you round differently than you do in math. It just really depends. Logarithmic, okay, if you want to find a logarithm, you can do that with the ln function. Okay. All right, but I don't want to get too complicated here. All right, statistical. So this is there to describe quantities of data. So if you've taken statistics before, or you've heard of statistics, or maybe this might have been on your FSA, this is where you have to deal with deviation, average, min, max. Okay, you calculate your range. So average is one of the statistical functions. It's there to describe your quantities of data. And I'm going to do this by implementing a gradebook. Okay, so we're just going to say we're going to have a chapter 1 assignment. I'm going to use a cybersecurity thing. So IPv4 exhaustion assignment. Okay, then we're going to have unit 6 quiz, unit 6 test, and maybe subnet lab. That's actually things we're doing right now in Cyber 1. So, or things that we have done in Cyber 1. All right, so I'm going to make up some names. So we'll do Homer, Marge, Lisa, Bart, Maggie. Bonus points if you know what show that's from. Okay, exhaustion assignment. So Homer, he doesn't like to do his homework all that much, but he decided to give it a shot, so we'll give him a 75. Quiz, 70. Test, 72. And subnet lab, 100. Marge, okay, she's got an 85, 82, 80, 92. Okay, Lisa, 100, 95, 95, 97. Bart, 25, 55. On the test, he either studied or he cheated. 85. Subnet lab, 65. And they got Maggie, which is a baby and doesn't know this stuff, so we're just going to delete her because she's not in school. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the average, the min, and the max. Okay, so the average, you're going to calculate the average of these scores. Okay, so equal average, parentheses, and look at, all I did here was I clicked and I dragged. I didn't fill over here, I dragged. Okay, so C2 through C5. We're going to find the average of C2 through C5. Enter, 79.25. Okay, and remember, we want to use cells because if we change 70, say I graded wrong, so 72, it will change the average. Okay, all right, then we got your min. So this calculates your smallest amount in this range, okay, which is 70. But I want to be able to use a formula. So equals min, parentheses, select, enter, 70. The max, 100, equal max, 100. Okay, I could do this again for Marge. Okay, I'll do it using the formulas up here. Formulas. I can either do more function statistical, or I could go to insert function. Oh, average is right here. I didn't even have to click anything. Okay. Number 1, I could do D2, D3, D4, D5, and so on, but I'm efficient. I don't want to do that. So we're going to get rid of that, and that, and that. So we're going to select this range. Okay, so the average of this range is 84.75. Bam, there you go. Min. Okay. Same thing. Max. There you go. And if you want to try these out, you're welcome to. We're going to go ahead and move on. There's two other functions I want you to know as well. Sorry, I must have gotten a little carried away with myself. Count and count A. Standard deviation and variance. I've never seen that in a certification, but you would just define the standard deviation. You just put your numbers in a range like you would your min or your max. Same thing your variance. Like I said, if you're in statistics, you're going to be working with that, so you can do that then. But I'm not going to worry about that today. All right, so count and count A. So count, and you might have also seen count if, which uses the if function when you count as well, where you have to count how many are if they meet a specific criteria. Count will count the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Okay, so these are numbers we're talking about. This isn't text, this is numbers. So if B4 through B15 have all numbers, it'll be 11. If it's all text, it'll be 0. Count A is any cells that aren't empty, so any text, any numbers. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. Okay, so we're going to do count A. So if I want to count the number of students I have, okay, I would use which one? Count A, because it's number of things that are empty, cells that are empty, equal C1 through F1. Oops. It also helps when you have a function. There you go. 4 students. Now I do this with FBLA because I have about 29, 30 members. I have them on a list in a spreadsheet with their competitions, whether or not they pay dues, what their officer positions are, what their email is. Instead of having to click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm efficient, remember? So I'm going to use the count function and figure out how many members I have. Okay. I can also make a count if function to count how many members I have that paid dues to, which is really cool because I don't have to count how many I have. All right, so count. So we're going to count numbers now. So equal, count, and keep in mind, just because it counts numbers does not mean you're summing it up. You're counting to see how many numbers have how many cells have numbers in them. So I have how many assignments? 4. Okay. Now if I try using count with these names, that's going to 0 because it's numbers. Count A is text. Okay. So moving on. Okay, so we did min-max. All right, now we're going to do financial. So these are used to analyze loans and investments. Okay, and we usually use this with the PMT function, or if you're doing investments, you can figure out the future value of your investment given a specific time period and how much you're going to invest every month over a certain amount of time. You can see how much your investment goes, or it's worth. Your present value is how much your present value of an investment is. So if you put an investment into your retirement, you put in $50 every month with a specific interest rate, you can see how much at this point in time, how much you have. Your PMT function is how you can calculate your loan payment. And I'm not going to really show you this all that much because I'm going to really get into it in the next chapter when we do the car project, which I do every year, where I give you a amount that you make, and you need to find a car within this range, and you need to figure out a loan payment for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years and see how the payment works and how much you end up paying off and how much extra you pay for the car given an interest rate. So like I said, that's there. You can calculate a loan payment. I'm not going to show it to you because we're going to get into that later. So just keep in mind that that's the financial function. So, oops. Okay, so you got future value and present value. So if I want to put in an investment, okay, now I'm going to refer to this a little bit because I want to make sure I have this all right. Okay, so I want to invest in, I don't know, a retirement because I'm boring. All right, retirement. So the rate that my interest rate that I make, okay, I make more money when I put more money in a specific interest rate over time. My interest rate is, we'll keep it by 0.08. Okay, that's 8%, by the way. We represent percentage rates as far as interest rates in decimal format, because it looks better. Number of periods, so that means how many of times I have put money into my retirement. So if I were a 5-year teacher and I've been starting this, 5 times 12 is 60. Okay. The payment, I'm going to put in $100 a month. Okay. And then if I want to put the present value in, I can. Okay. If I already had money in there, but I don't have present value. I just want to see in 60 months what the future value would be. I put in $100 a month at 8% interest rate. So future value of this investment. So we're going to do equal FV rate, comma, number of periods, comma, B5. Now this is really important. This, when we use the comma structure, is because this has different parts of this function. Okay, you only really need to use one number. You're not doing this for a bunch of different numbers. You would just use autofill if you need to. You need to set it up differently. So FV rate, comma, number of periods, comma, PMT, comma, future value and type. The reason why it's bracketed off like that is because that's optional. You can put it in there if you need it, but I don't need it to complete this function. So if I put in $100 a month, okay, $100, okay, and I'll put it as a negative number because that's going out. Okay, I'm paying $100, so it's $100 out of my paycheck. For 60 periods, 60 times, with an 8% interest rate, I would have a future value of $125,000. And that does not seem right at all. So if I did a 0.02 interest rate. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So 0.8 I think is probably really high. Alright. Okay. That makes sense. Now we're going to do present value. Okay, so we're going to do equals PV rate, comma, number of periods, comma, payment. Okay, the present value at this point in time is $3,476. Okay, that's after 60 periods. Oh, you know what? This interest rate is annual. That's why it was so much. You want to make sure you do interest rate divided by 12. Right? Interest rate divided by 12. Oh, it's right. It's 2%. Well, it's still value. Oh, well. We're not going to worry about it right now. Okay. So we are going, that's how the future value and the present value work. Okay, next. So those are commonly used financial functions. Moving down. Okay, now we got logical functions. We got a little Spock over here because it's logical. All right, so this displays text or values if certain conditions exist. So the if function is a good test of this. Okay, logical. Okay. So, for example, I have, okay, so say, for example, I have a bunch of employees. So we got Betty, Taylor, John, David, Doug, and Chester. I'm really original. Okay, and we want to see if they qualify for a bonus. Okay, so they only qualify for a bonus if they make more than $2,500 in commission. Okay, so we're gonna put that here. Okay, so we're gonna so if they make more than 2,500, they'll earn a bonus. So Betty, she's doing pretty good. She got 3,000 in commission. Taylor, 1,250, 543, 5,000, or sorry, 500, 5,000, 1,600, 800. Okay, equal if, okay, the logical test is if B2 is greater than 2,500, or you could do B2 is greater than E1, comma, value of true, bonus, value of true, no bonus. Oops, I had a feeling that was going to happen. Oops. All right. Oh, you know what? Forgot parentheses. You have to put parentheses if there's text. I'm sorry, not parentheses, quotation marks. Okay. All right, so I think I can do a space here. There you go. So I'm going to autofill this down. And that did not work. Why did that not work? If B3 is greater than E2, should go bonus or not bonus. This is not greater than E2. Oh. This is another one of those learning moments. Okay. The reason why this did this, okay, is when you autofill down, and I'm getting a little bit of ahead here. When I autofill down, it will bring this down. If I need to keep this stationary, what I need to do is I need to make E1 an absolute cell reference. Okay, by doing that, I'm going to press F4, and you're going to see the dollar signs. Okay, when I autofill down, it will stay stationary. So Taylor doesn't get a bonus, John doesn't get a bonus, Doug doesn't get a bonus because they don't make 2,500. Okay, now if I didn't have that, this would say E2, E3, and so on, and there's no values here. So it would say, oh, it's greater than 0. That's why I came up with bonus. Okay, so that's how you use logical functions. All right, how are we doing on time? We are about 32 minutes. We'll get this pretty quick. Okay. Date and time, this is really easy. Okay, this is just to convert your date and time or put it in a worksheet. All right. The date is we've got year and month, day. So you can set it up to be, and this is really unnecessary because there's different ways to do this. But we can say, okay, 2016 or 2017. There you go. January, or no, you know what? 2017, 1/23, and it'll come to 1/23/2017. You could just enter that in. You could just enter that in manually, or you can use the insert current day. Or you can just type it in. It just seems it's there, but I would never use it. You probably won't need it for your certification, but you should probably know it anyway. Okay, now equals now. There's no argument in there. Okay, at this point in time, I'm up late. It's 10:33 p.m. Okay, I'm a very motivated person at night. So that's, at this point in time, it's 1/25/2017, 10:33 p.m. Okay, obviously, it's probably going to be around 10:33 a.m. when you're looking at this video, the 26th. Or later if I'm talking to future students. Okay, all right, so equal today, this shows 125. So this is based on the computer's date. So if your computer's date is different, it's going to be different, okay? It doesn't just magically know atomic time. It's whatever your computer's set to. Okay. All right, text function. So this is there to format and display cell contents. And this, again, I feel is unnecessary because it just isn't used ever. But I'm just going to show you anyway. So proper if I do equal proper, text could be he. Okay. Oops. I always mess this up. Equals proper. That's right. I just have to put a cell in there. I'm not going to worry about it. You'll never need it. Oopsies. You'll never need it. Just know that that's what it is. Okay? That's what those do. The proper, if you put the cell in there, it'll convert the first letter of each word in that cell to uppercase and the rest to lowercase. Convert all the letters in this. Yeah. So all of that. Okay? Again, you don't really need to use this. Okay? Proper will change it to the proper place, lower, all lowercase, upper, uppercase. There's so many other ways you can do that. Okay, substitute, it's like find and replace. Again, another way to do it. But I want to make sure you guys know that these are different types of functions that you can use. Okay, so that is pretty much it as far as functions go. I showed you the if function. Concatenate. Concatenate, since I had some questions about that. Okay, so the way concatenate works, okay, is when you can put two cells together into the same word. Okay, so if I want to do amazing, yes, okay, equal concatenate, so it'll change two text strings into one text string, A3, A4, amazing, yes. If I wanted to put a space in between, comma, parentheses, and there you go, amazing, yes. Okay, so that's that concatenate function. You guys use that in geometrics. I think that might be on the certification. I'm not exactly sure. So, all right, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, obviously, just come see me. I apologize for any errors in this video. If anything didn't work, like I said, I do this live, and it's not like I can just, go back and do that. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Play around with Excel. Like I said, the functions part is amazing. That's really where the value is in the formulas. Okay, and there's all sorts of different things to do, but the big thing is when I grade your guys' assignments, you need to make sure you put the formulas in, because I can check. If I go to formulas, show formulas, look, it shows the formulas. Okay, go to math, show formulas. Oh, and this cell did equal SQRT, SQRT, SQRT round. So you can't just get out of it and type the number in. You actually have to use this formula. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I hope that you guys learned some things from it. You're gonna go ahead and start the step-by-steps for chapter 2. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, thank you.